Hey family, welcome to this episode of Reminisce podcast where we come to explore the journey of healing, growth, and finding our way back to ourselves and each other. I am your host, Jay Tache. First of all, guys, let me tell you something. I know this is a topic that will resonate with everybody if you live in America, okay? Fitness and mental health, we are here all about mental health and just living the healthy lives as best we can. And I'm accompanied by two people that I have met on my fitness almost journey. And I'm working on it. I've learned that it's definitely more of a mental thing. And as soon as I can overcome that, I know that I'll, be able to do better. But these two work really hard at pushing themselves and pushing other people to just be healthy and give themselves the best of themselves. And so I want to introduce to you the owners and runners of Liberty Nutrition. I have Dana Hughes here, who founded and is the best nutrition girl I have ever met, okay? And I'm going to tell you all the story of how we met, and we'll get there, okay? Yeah, and then I also have Carmen Makar here, fitness extraordinaire, okay? Literally. First of all, I've been to their fit camp.
Oh, it's so much fun.
And I have worked out with them, and let me tell you something, their energy will have you feeling like you could do anything.
You can do it.
It will have you feeling like it. So if you don't mind, just kind of tell the people, who you guys are, what you represent, and what you bring to the city.
All right, well, you're the actual owner. I'm just the trainer in the backspace.
Now you count.
But no, we all count. But I'll let you go ahead and speak on what you bring, and then I'll tell them how I walked in on it.
That walked in on it.
Yeah.
No, how you walked in.
You know what I mean.
All right, so hi guys.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Dana. I've been doing what I do for almost 5-6 years. I don't even know at this point. It's just been going for 6 years now. So before I owned Liberty Nutrition, I actually used to teach elementary school. So I've always been clear with my purpose, but something about fitness and helping others was just a little bit extra for me to be my own boss and then help the young kids, help literally any age. So before I had Liberty Nutrition, I worked at my friend's nutrition club, and I just was around really incredible people. And I thought to myself, this is something I would love to do. I just get to bet on myself. So, how you'll hear how her and I have met, but I first opened up the Hubbard Nutrition 4 years ago, and again, had no idea what I was saying yes to. I just said yes. I trusted myself. I just believed that I was going to be down the right path, whatever that was going to be for me, and decided to open up the second location, which is Liberty Nutrition. I did end up selling Hubbard to one of my best friends. Yeah, we like to be known as the Good Best Vibe Club. The Good Vibe Club. We like to brand ourselves like that just because it's more than just a protein shake and a tea that you can stop in and get. It's family, it's community, it's higher level thinking, bigger conversations, and just a safe space. So we're actually local in Youngstown. So if you're listening and you're in the Youngstown area, we're right on Belmont, 3045 Belmont Avenue.
Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m.
We got fit camps. We got so much going on there.
Everybody likes free.
So we do a lot of free things for the community.
$3.99.
We have a cafe, a healthy cafe in the front, and then in the back, it's actually an incredible, almost like a private gym. It's a pretty big space though. And that's kind of where I was just looking for people to add value and add light and live through their purpose, part of their purpose. And again, when you're clear with what you want and you do the work, I'm doing the work to be better and to attract better. Here we go. Carmen comes pulling up in my show.
I needed some protein. Well, actually, I needed some healthy food for my friend because I just moved back from South Carolina in April. And, it was just a restart from a negative time. I was down there by myself. I didn't have any family or friends really around or, to an extent anymore. Everyone else was kind of doing their own thing in my friend circle. So it was just time for a reset anyway. And then, obviously family and caretaking and just being there for family in general, not even caretaking, but just being there in general, being able to do the extra things where in the past I couldn't. So on this past year actually has been probably the craziest year. Like even through a depression year and certain things, just like when I moved here in April, I dropped my wallet. It fell out of my back pocket, and I lost this woman. Like stole my wallet on the way up here. What? So I was down I was down well, yeah, she actually waited she saw it pop out, and on the video camera you see her wait for us to pull, and then she pulled up and grabbed it. But it was like a few grand in there, whatever, a couple grand in there because I just closed out my bank accounts. And so like the transition was just super negative. I got like a rolling stop sign right before I came. And just everything was just like next level hectic. So when I was driving to my grandma's house, my friend lives near my grandma's house, and I always he helps me out with the car situation stuff when I need it. So I always hit him up. I'm like, "What do you want?" So the day before I walked into Liberty Nutrition, and mind you, I'm going to this parking lot. This is how God is good, everyone, for real. So I'm going to this parking lot since like May, and it's October. It had to be May, June, and it's October now. And I go to the smoke shop to get my Ric Flair energy drinks because they have a mushroom complex in there. Oh, it's Ric Flair. It's literally named. It's literally named. Woo, like his phrase or whatever. So I like those energy drinks. So I would go grab 2 at a time or whatever, 3, just so I didn't have to go back and go to the gym. Right. And so I was already in the parking lot next door, and I didn't even know it. So all these months go by. My friend texts me something ridiculous the day before I walk in, like 7 a.m. or 6:30 in the morning. I'm going to the gym. He said, "Hey, you want to bring me by a pizza?" And I'm like, "Dude, who makes pizza at 7 a.m.? It's like 6:30 in the morning." Like seriously, I said, "Let's try again." So the next day, I don't know. He's a comedian too, so whether it be funny or not, he said. And again, at the same time, he's like, "Hey, can I get a burger?" What? And I'm like, "Dude, who makes a burger?" So I just Googled like healthy food near me. And I'm in the energy drink parking lot to go to the gym. And right here it says 0 feet, Liberty Nutrition. And I'm like, I always thought, like my mom was a registered dietitian growing up. So I always thought I was a nutritionist or something like that. And I was just like, I don't need a nutritionist. Like I know what I'm doing in the food field, So I just never went in, and then it popped up protein, and I actually wanted to start my creatine as well. It's a really weird coincidence. So I walked in.
Perfect timing.
Got my friend. This is the first day, guys. I walked in. I got my friend a protein drink. I got myself my creatine, and I think I even got a mega tea.
You got a mega tea?
Yeah. And so I loaded up on a couple things. I loaded up on a couple things, and I got to my friend's house to just give him one thing. Yeah, no, well, he was just supposed to get the shake. I was going to do the mega tea for energy and focus, and I was going to eat the oatmeal because I didn't think he would like protein oatmeal. Okay. So he likes his shake and the oatmeal, and his wife likes the tea. So immediately, now I'm like, all right, I got to go back. So I go back to Liberty Nutrition because now I have to hit the gym. I don't have my stuff. So I go back to get a shake, and now I'm going to see my dad real quick at this point in time and stop at my grandma's house because they just called me. So it's my grandma, uncle, and my dad. So I order like 2 extra things, right? So it's now I have like 4 things. I go to let my dad try it, and I was like, I highly doubt my grandma or uncle was going to like this stuff. Let them try it anyway. They like everything. So now I'm going back to Liberty Nutrition the 3rd time. At what point did you run into Dana? Yeah, that wasn't until like 2 days later. I wasn't
there that day.
Yeah, that wasn't even. That's what I'm saying. That's why Spirit God is good because he used to coming in here. Yeah, he used to come in the door. So I'm sitting there this time with my getting my stuff, and I'm looking in the back and just sitting there talking, and I'm like, well, what are you guys doing with the space back there anyway? And,
so let me pause you right there, if that's fine.
Yeah, that's cool. So I might not be telling her 110%.
No, that's right. Yeah, no, that's right. So the back, the gym I was mentioning, we had I had a business partner at the time who, basically he got super busy. He was back in school. He was taking care of his family, and he was never there. So honestly, that space was just empty, and you can feel the emptiness. And it's like, again, we have this agreement, we have this partnership, and I can only do so much, right? And I don't know, I kind of just got to the point where I don't really have to worry about it right now because it's not my responsibility fully. But at that time, literally 2 weeks before, or not even 2 weeks, probably a week or so right before he came in, my partner at the time basically said, listen, this is too much. I'm just going to step away. It's not going to make sense for me to stay here. And typically when moments like that happen, like, I'm in a panic. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, that's a whole other half the rent, half the utilities. Like, there's just so much going on. How am I going to hold that end? Because now I'm like, okay, this is going to be my responsibility now. So it's just, that's not even crazy or insane because, again, the big man above is always going to just take care of everything. But a week before my other partner left, so now this space, we set the intention, like, we have to find somebody who's going to love this space and who wants to pour into this space. And So, like, that's where, like, my mindset is. And I'm not even there that day when you come in 3 times. So then go ahead.
It was Alyssa.
Yeah.
Alyssa was there.
Crazy.
The other girl working and our friend. So she was working the whole day. Now I went back and then I asked what was going on with the gym. And she said, actually, we just lost the guy that was back there like 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, whatever it was. And I was just sitting there like, really? Like, immediately, like, I was just like, there's no way. But then I came back, what was it, the next day or maybe it was 2 days later.
No, you called me. Somebody called me, and then you mentioned something about, I think Alyssa said something about, like, the space is going to be open if you're interested in possibly training or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And I could just tell, and it's kind of like funny because this was for me and you too, and I would love for you to share that part, but just right from the jump, I'm like, oh, like, he's cool as heck, like, his energy is really cool.
Yeah, I did talk to her on the phone.
Yeah, we talked on the phone. He goes, are you open for an interview? Like, or can I come in and, like, have an interview? Yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll be there tomorrow if you have time. He's like, yeah, just let me know when. And then like the next day or 2 days.
Not in my interview clothes. First of all, Carmen, what do your interview clothes look like?
I'm dressed up. Like, I got my dress pants on.
You stuffing them muscles in that shirt.
I got my button up on, my dress shoes.
And
I don't care
if it's that serious.
I don't care if it's like Dollar General or Handles or Ice Cream Shop or Dairy Queen or if it's like this big management position. I'm gonna dress. It's like an integrity thing. It's like you don't do what you do behind closed doors is what you do is the same as what you do in public as people were watching you. It's like you don't try to be sneaky and do that. I always have done that. I don't know if I was like raised like that, I guess, but it was always just taking advantage of that opportunity given to you. So I was taking it serious.
So you see him walking this button up with his collar.
Yeah.
Well, what you think?
I just didn't really know what to think, but it was more just like when he mentioned the word interview, I lost it. Interview? I'm like, dude, what?
Do you want a job or not?
I'm like, it doesn't really work like that with me. This is not really a job. It's more like an opportunity. So then I go into my spiel of like, we get to lock arms. I don't like to be called, like, I like boss girl or whatever, like, I guess, but like not really. I don't want to be, that's my boss. Like, no. Yeah. We are all adults. We all get to have, well, if it works out, like if we have a common goal, if we all are aligned with where we want to go, like we're business partners. And that's how I run it. So like, yeah, I guess like I've had like high schoolers come in who wants to work like the cafe part. Cool, there's an interview. But like, I knew he was interested in the gym. Like I just wanted to get to know his vision, his heart, and like, what does that look like? Because I have worked with people who, I didn't have those clarifying conversations. And then later on, it's like, I don't want to be the bad guy, but I'm like, listen, I have to be like very straight up with like where I'm going. And if it doesn't align with you, that's fine. But like, where do we get to like make those changes or, have these hard conversations and maybe like break away from maybe the friendships or business partners or whatever, because it's just like the goal is so far up there, and I just can't waste not even waste my time, but I can't waste my time on people who just don't get it. So the interview was it was honestly just kind of sweet. Like,
I don't know, it was just, that whole thing was just pretty funny to me. So I've been taking creatine ever since that day. I mean, I actually, because, so this is my thing about motivation, and like why even the motivators need motivation too. It's like we feed off of, our motivation comes from like people showing up at fit camp. You know, it's like I can lift by myself. I lifted by myself most of my life, just without a spotter and everything. So it's like, to be able to share and help other people is where my motivation comes from.
People like me that struggle to work out. Listen, when I go to their fit camp, and when you go to their fit camp and you, first of all, everybody has had a moment where they try to just get that Planet Fitness membership or join this group, do this team, do these things. And as for me, I know it was always very intimidating to work out in a group of people because you already walk in with your insecurities. You already walk in having tried this already. So it's like, oh my God, how am I, and then but then I had to honestly be real with myself and say, but am I going to do the work at home? Probably not, because I'm comfortable there. So in order for me to actually do the workout, I know that I need to be around a group of people that are doing the workout. And then when I go to their boot camp or fit camp on Sundays, like, first of all, there's not energy. It's like,
that part.
Exactly.
But
it's you walk in and the energy, it meets you at the door, right? And you can just walk in, like, hey y'all, I'm coming today, I'm giving what I got. Nobody's like, I feel so comfortable, and you feel like and you feel like they're rooting for you. Like, this one will come right next to you. Guys. Let's go. Come on. And then and then
I'm just smiling like,
you're working out, but then they also give you kind of like different ways that you can still do it. Or, you know what, if you can't handle it at this level, try it at this level. Or, you don't have to walk in there like intimidated or feel like, oh my God, I'm about to be slow. I am slow. I am out of shape. But I like the fact that you can come in there and you guys meet us where we are. And you just help us. And the fact that you do this and you bring it with all that intensity and nobody's even paying you to show up and do that, that shows, one, who God is. It shows who God is in you. And it also shows, I think you guys lead by example when it comes to just community leaders and, having a purpose that you both share. In the way that you guys met, it also shows how God works and how he aligns people and when you're obedient, what he can create and put together. So I kind of want to get into how I met this one a little bit too. Like, I met Dana over the phone. I had never seen her in person or anything. Real quick, I'm just telling y'all, I was like maybe 4 weeks postpartum. Maybe 4 to 6 weeks postpartum. Like, I had a newborn at home. Right. And this was like a really hard time in my life. At 7 months pregnant, I lost my house, my car. I couldn't work because I was too pregnant to do it. I was in the hospital because I was sick, and I was at home with a PICC line, an IV pole, and a stomach. I had a lot going on. And I ended up having to move out into my parents' house to just kind of downsize, and I had to start over, right? And so I'm in this space, and that story goes in so many layers, but we'll stick to one thing. In this space, I'm in, my mom's back den where she allowed us, to live. And I'm thinking, like, God, like, you put me, you hid me literally in a room, pregnant. He took me through such a spiritual, when I say I was in that back room, me and God, on my knees, crying, just different cycles of it, mind you, I'm still doing lashes, I'm still momming, I'm still, and all these things, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, why did you strip me of everything? Like, and that was when I learned, he will really cut off everything until you start to put him first and understand what he wants you to do. And so that brings me to, this certain day, I don't know what day it was, but I had got up and I was like, okay, I'm going to have energy today. I'm going to pump. I'm going to clean. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Mind you, 20 minutes into it, I'm sitting down on the bed crying because I was just too tired to even fold the clothes or whatever. So I'm like, I need a mega T.
Yeah.
I had a mega T problem. I still do. Okay? And I'm like, I need one. And I didn't have a car. Everybody was gone. It was just me. I'm like, how am I going to get this mega T? At this point, I got on DoorDash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm about to DoorDash.
Disclaimer, we don't have DoorDash anymore. We weren't even, we
were like, what? You were like, it worked? She was like, it worked.
We deliver, but we can't use DoorDash.
So I'm like, whatever.
So
now, mind you, I was paying like double, almost triple the price for one cup. Because I wanted it. I wanted it so bad. I'm like, I don't care. So I called because I was wondering, like, is this, making sure that it was going to work. So I get Dana on the phone.
Crazy. Yeah.
And when I say, like, I don't even know if I was crying. I don't know what was I saying on the phone when I called you? I don't remember. I just know I'm like, I need a mega T. And you were like, girl, no, you called me. Because you were like, hey, I saw you put an order on DoorDash, and I just want you to know we don't have DoorDash.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it even worked for you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Because I really wanted it, and I was ready for it. And she was like, really? She was like, if it goes through, but I don't want you to pay all this money for this one cup.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, that cup could be $50. I want it, right? So, long story short, in comes the cup that I ended up DoorDashing. On this cup, there was like the straw and then all these coupons and deals and little gifts all wrapped around the cup. Now, mind you, the conversation we got into while I'm ordering this $25 cup of Mega Tea.
Which is not $25.
It's not $25. I was like, I don't care.
I don't know how they...
She couldn't believe it. I was like, girl, I want it.
You can't DoorDash it now.
No, but she was like, we had such a conversation. Ended up telling her all about me. I'm like, well, hi, my name is I just had a baby. I need some energy shoot. And she poured into me on the phone, not knowing who I was, not knowing anything about me. All she heard was the desperation in my voice, and she poured into me over the phone, a complete stranger. Now after that, I'm like, after I'm done healing, and I get back on my feet and get a car and all these things, I'm like, I'm gonna come see you in person so I can hug you for the way you poured into me. And where are we? 3 years later.
Yeah.
So we finally meet in person, and I go in there and I said, I'm about to tell you who I am. She was like, who? And I'm like, remember how you poured into me on the phone when I had that breakdown? I had just had my baby. She was like, ooh.
No, like,
so she runs around the counter, and it was just like we embraced and we just hugged, and we were just like, are you serious? And this was 3 years ago, and so it just shows how God
it's so cool.
He does a thing He knew before we knew. And even after that, going forward, as I rebuilt my life and got everything back that I lost, and restoration was in full bloom for me. Yeah, I still had a lifelong friend that I was like this, and we don't talk every day. We don't, we don't. But when we're in each other, we don't have to. Like when I see her, it's like, girl,
fill me in.
I'm okay walking into Living Nutrition having a whole breakdown. If I walk in there and just start crying, she'd be like, hold on, here I come, and just to, she didn't know anything about me, and I will forever be like. You my girlfriend, for real, because you love me from day one. Yeah, and it's been the same thing. You know what I mean? Friends.
The moment we were talking, I just felt like, wait a second, I feel like I know you,
right? Like we met before.
How aren't we already friends? Mm-hmm. But
it's been great too. I mean, it's
just so fun,
and I'm like, she loves God, and she walks in everything she says, and I just think it's powerful for other women to walk into your shop and see that. I feel like I wanted to do episodes with entrepreneurs and people that are building businesses and, have gone through the ups and the downs of becoming an entrepreneur and all these things. Yeah. And then bring it all back around to why, one, mental health is so important in business. Two, why community is important. You know what I mean? Your target goal may not be mine, but there's ways that we can pour into each other that build something that's completely separate.
We're stronger together.
Literally. I think unity is important. I just love the fact that as soon as I came up with the idea and I ran it by you. Remember I came in, I was like, okay, let me paint a picture for you. And
I think I was even
were you there? And I'm like, I want to paint a picture for y'all and tell y'all what I'm about to do. And y'all were like, yeah. I'm like,
because you know what it is, if you don't just try it out, like what? You're always gonna wonder what it would be like.
Right? Yeah. It's like that thing saying in your subconscious, that you don't even know that's affecting you. That's the worst part. Some of your subconscious thoughts, that's why you have to meditate and you have to do your self-care and you have to read and you have to do these things, because otherwise some of this stuff just cycles in the back of your mind and it brings you down and you don't even know it brings you down. Like,
I think creating a routine, and I know that you guys have mastered that. I think for me, I've learned that the only way I'm going to actually execute something is if I have a routine. Yeah. So I've been lately really working on perfecting my routine, even down to setting this up and doing this and that.
Yeah.
You have to do the same routine every day. You know what I mean? I think people try to get into a habit of things before they've even settled into just doing one thing consistently. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think I'm trying to really do that. I think with ADHD and the way and distractions and then all these things, and you're like, how am I going to fit in working out?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, where? For me, it's like, what time? Where?
Well, honestly,
all the distractions in life in general. Like, you're also a mom, you know, and just like, life is just, here's the thing, like we always say, life's lifing us right now. Life's never going to stop lifing you.
Literally.
But it's just like, where do you get to honor, respect, and love yourself more? Because naturally, most people are always giving, and they want to be seen or whatever. It's just, and I think if we're all coming from a space where they're always just trying to give, like, how do you expect to like take care of yourself? And like the routines, that's going to come and go. Like life might throw a curveball, and
you can't get too down on yourself. That's one thing. Like, yes, you take the past into consideration as long as you. Then the crazy part about another thing of us coming together is her brand is Positive Fuel. And I literally have been saying this for my whole life, is like, even some of my friends are like, they see how negative like some of my family can be or how like aspects of my life are. And they'll be like, I don't understand how you can do what you do or how you go to the gym every day or how you do this. And it just comes down to like you said, the routine's important, but it's like your self-care, your self-love. Like, you just have to be there for you. It's a you versus you mentality.
Now, what do you say to another man, fit man, who is learning how to prioritize himself in an internal way? You know, I think even as strong as you are and as healthy as you are, I'm sure there's still moments that you know, your human side really just starts to show, and you're like, man.
So
you ever get sick of just being fit? Like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna eat burgers every day.
Well, think about this. The more fit you are, the more metabolized you are. Oh, real quick about the Positive Fuel, though. I kind of was branching out from there. But, so my whole life is like, from certain aspects, I've always said you use the negative in your past. Like, you don't let it consume you, and you don't dwell on it. That's the worst thing you can do. But you use that negative and fuel the positive. And then her brand, I meet her and her brand's Positive Fuel. And I'm like, how does that not coincide with me walking into the shop a week and a half, 2 weeks after the training?
Let's to that one, because that is pretty cool.
I literally have been like, you could ask my old friends. It's just like, they're like, how you doing? I'm like, well, can't dwell on stuff. You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
And all right, so for your question, is burgers, so metabolizing, like, there's certain elements you could take to metabolize yourself. Like, a lot of people like these Starbucks drinks and stuff, but it's all sugar. It's like, if you could just drink a cup of black coffee with no sugar or creamer in it, that's like really good for metabolizing purposes. But it's like, I do go out and eat burgers and pizza sometimes, but I metabolize it super fast and get it off. But it's just working up to what your goals are. Like, my goal wasn't necessarily to be shredded, but working on this list of stuff, like accepting change and using the past to fuel the positive and the negative in the past. And meditation, like, I believe you have to like take certain parts of yourself and realize, like, not everybody was raised 110% correct. You have to be open-minded as you grow, and you have to be willing to listen and accept certain elements of change in your life and accept these outcomes that maybe it wasn't in your plan, but you have to accept it now. But like, you have to let go of these certain goals that maybe you didn't complete, so you can focus on your new goals. And it's just like revamping yourself. I listen to a lot of I do like Andrew Huberman a lot. I implement a lot of Andrew Huberman's podcast stuff because he has people. One of his most recent ones, which is another guy that I followed a lot coming out of depression and stuff like 10 years ago, was Jordan Peterson. And they have I think Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan had one that was like how to retrain the human mind. And I remember I would just listen to that it's like 3.5 hours long, 3 hours.
I feel like I actually listened to that.
I know, it's like some of those are so good, but Andrew Huberman and Jordan Peterson, I've listened to Andrew Huberman mostly, but I like Joe Rogan also because he knows how to open people up and talk to people. But I get a lot of my knowledge from them, and like, there's like this meditation aspect that you have to deal with these certain things in the past, and like even as you were raised, it's like your parents. Your parents did the best with what they were given, and even if they didn't do the best, whoever raised you, they raised you, so you have to perceive life. Maybe you weren't raised entirely right, even if you did. Like my parents weren't married. Even if you did have parents that were married, maybe you weren't raised entirely right. So you just have to accept that fact and be open-minded to accept other things as you grow. Because that's how you grow as a person,
like,
become
just
you.
Don't be so sold on one way of thinking. Because there's so many different aspects. And I think even me, as I learned that every day, for me growing up, even when I was a kid, I used to be so, like my kid does now. When you tell her something, that's what she expects.
Right.
And I had all these like expectations of how people were supposed to be, how my mom was supposed to mom, how my dad was supposed to dad, how my, I had all these things because this is what I saw or what was on TV or what I saw other kids, But then as you get older and you really understand, everybody's reality and everybody's cup wasn't filled the same way. And so you have to take whatever's in yours and multiply that thing in the way that is going to benefit you and the people around you. So, my cup was full of great things and, also missing some things. But at the same time, at some point in your life, you have to be completely responsible for putting those things in your cup that you may not have gotten. It's time for you to fill your own cup now.
Blaming people, stop assuming
nobody else's
expectations.
You are
do inventory on yourself.
Where you are because of your choices leading up to it.
We can't.
Whether
we don't
accept it or not.
Do an inventory on yourself. I'm going to pause you right there at inventory on yourself. Okay.
Business-wise, there's going to be times where I might make somebody mad. And I might have people quit or whatever that is, okay? So just to paint a picture. And I have to remember that maybe it's me. Like maybe I get to do things differently. Maybe I get to communicate things differently. Maybe I didn't do X, Y, or Z. Or maybe their expectation was different. Again, it just comes down to communication. And, I'm not afraid to say that I did something wrong. Obviously, a lot of us might have this mindset where I'm I'm perfect or I'm this or what, I don't know. And this inventory, I think if you have the mindset, and if you don't right now, you can always work on this, but if you have the mindset of, I get to be 1% better every single day. For example, Atomic Habits is a book that I would recommend for that. We have to always go back to the fact that everyone is doing the best that they can. We all are going through our own things. We all, have the choice to make, whether it's right or left, whatever. And we can only control ourselves. So it's like when I do this inventory, or like Carmen, you can speak on how did I treat people today? How did I talk to people today? Like, it's important to just go back and just kind of go over.
Reflect the day.
Yeah, reflect on the day.
Were your reactions on point? Did you act appropriate in the circumstance throughout the day? And again, you don't dwell on these facts. You just think about it. Like for me, I in my daily routine, I like to do the sauna a lot. So my meditation comes with the sauna, and I'll sit there and close my eyes and so whether I go into prayer sometimes or pray afterward, I'll sit there and just go into how I talk to people throughout the day, how I was talked to throughout the day. Because again, you have to have boundaries with certain people. Like, just because I know a lot of people say, well, it's family. Again, there's family. That's where you have to put your boundaries even higher with family. Because I mean, family can get under your skin, obviously, probably easier than anybody that you know. So that's why you have to be stern with your boundaries. Like, I've walked out on family before. When I lived in South Carolina, there was a time where I was getting spoken to very negatively. And I said, I love you, this isn't healthy for us. And I went and stayed the night, I think, at my other family's house for 3 days until I went back to South Carolina. And it's like, it doesn't matter who it is. You have to have those strict boundaries with yourself, just because it's not worth it in the long run. That negativity, you don't need to be that negative person. You want to be that positive one that brings the positive energy and the smiles and gets everybody to open up and be vulnerable.
Right.
You don't want to have to fake it.
And being fake, I mean, fake is obviously not fun. And then
and it's not fun.
With faith,
you want to pour from a real cup, from a real place.
With faith comes lying, and I don't know. There's something I don't like anything about lying. It comes back to integrity. Well, how can you lie and do this if you have integrity? You don't have integrity at that point. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be kind. Like, there was an actual time in my life where I didn't have I went to open up my door handle from my car, and I was just looking at it just broke off from my hand. I was just holding my door handle on my driver's side door, and I left it like that for like 2 years. Just to humble myself. I could have easily went to the junkyard.
Like that for 2 years.
And, I mean, I don't know. In certain moments,
he said that.
You know yourself, and you know how to humble yourself or whatnot. Maybe I didn't need to do it that long or need to do all of that, but for some type of reason, I was just like, yeah, you know what? You're gonna open your car through your passenger side and start your car and walk hit the window and walk around. And whatever it was, it worked for me. It kept me
really quick.
It would be a little faster.
Yeah.
2 years?
I don't know. Just you have to sit with yourself and reflect with yourself, and even use that to be who you want to be. Like, who do you want to become? If you were gone today or tomorrow, what would people think of you?
Come on.
Like, how would you leave this earth, and how would people think of you if you were gone?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I want people to think of me as a motivator. Like, we bring a lot of people's like first workouts or like first whatever it is, protein shakes that they liked or whatever it is that you brought to the table. We want to be that person to bring it.
I think I am also working on that whole, if I were to leave this earth tomorrow, what would people say about me? I think when the amount of like loss and grief that I've actually like endured over my life and the people that are no longer here, I think the older you get and the more you endure that too, it also starts to like bring things into perspective. It starts to remind you like, hey, your time's coming too. We all have an appointed day that no one can change. You know what I mean? And that made me feel like, okay, once I turned 30, it felt like, like I felt that ticker start ticking. I was like, because people don't live that long.
No.
That's 30. That's a blessing to make it to 30.
It's a blessing. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'm like more grateful for my life. And now it's really kind of like, okay, if I do leave here, what will people, say about me?
Yeah.
Still to this day, my grandmas and the people that I've lost, if I bring my grandma Janelle up right now to anybody, they'll be like, oh, she was the sweetest lady. Let me tell you about the time. I want that.
Yeah, right?
That's so special.
Even with my grandmas being gone, they've paved ways for me, and they're not even here anymore. I've gotten certain jobs because this person knew who my grandma was. Or I want my name to be like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, people remember how she treated people, how open she was, how pure she was, and just, humble and imperfect.
Yeah.
But I still try to do my part. And I think that's very important. But in order to get to that point, we have to get to a place of like, okay.
Well, there's two things, and this is super huge with my life right now, and we can always, like, whenever we sit down, because that will be a whole other episode. But something, it's like two things, like how I like to operate my life is I know how I show up. I'm always going to come from love and light. And, you know, obviously with love and light, there's going to be some darkness. So I'm not going to say I don't experience really hard times, but again, like I'm still choosing to not let that win. So the way I am authentically myself, and I know my heart and I know my intention, that's what I can control. But also within all of this, people are going to have their own opinions. Like we can sit here and want like, oh, I want my legacy, I want people to remember me as this, but there's going to be people who don't like us, who think that we, you know, they have this narrative of us, and it's like, we can sit here and like lose sleep over, man, I just want that. I don't know why they think this about me or why they would, whatever.
Why are you judging?
But like, and I can be like, why are they, why, like, I can lose sleep. I can like, well, I want everybody to love me. And like, yes, that's true. So I show up with love, but at the end of the day, you have to just let them. And if you don't know who Mel Robbins is, that's somebody else who I try to listen to. And she, like, there's like this let them theory. So when you have somebody who is hating on your success, because that will show up, especially with you really stepping into your power right now to create a safe space for people to be vulnerable, people are always going to have something to say, no matter how kind you are, no matter how much you pray, no matter how much whatever, let them, because we cannot control that. And like, that's like very like strong right now for me. It's because I try to be amazing for everybody. I try to please, I try to love, and it's like
that's where the boundaries are implemented.
You can show up and be completely T's crossed, I's dotted.
It doesn't matter.
Somebody's going to be like, you know, and
that comes with being aware of clarity.
Worrying about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
for sure.
Should I really do it? You know, but then it was like, but Jasmine, like how you, because you've been through a lot in life.
We're starting something up in the area too. That's like just building a community. Like our mission is.
I think he gives people an assignment. And do that. I think when people get things messed up is when they start to turn it into what they want to do. And so I've really learned to keep my ear to God and do what He told me to do. You know what I mean? And when you do it, He'll be like, "No, this is why I told you. This is why you met this person, and this is why." And you watch Him start to work. It's like a magic trick. I'm trying to tell you.
Take control.
You watch it, you're like,
certain elements, and everything falls into place.
This was a conversation. Like 3 months ago.
And even just like, here's my thing though, even within all of that, like, because clearly we have faith. We don't, like, I'm at a point where, okay, as a human, we always want to have an understanding on, well, why this is happening. Like, why did this guy just break up with me? Because I love talking about relationships. I love talking about business opportunities. Like, why did I get this building? I really loved it. And the guy screwed me over, whatever. It's like, why is this happening? And it's like, we always want validation. But again, like, we have to always remember, if you choose, you know, if God is the one you want to go to, and if not, like, just remember, like, we have to remember, we don't always get to understand why things are happening, and where understanding ends, faith begins. And it's like, that right there is like, oh, I don't have to worry about it. I just get to just trust. And
you're not going to understand.
Yeah, we're not supposed to understand, but we don't want to because we're human, and that's normal.
We always want to figure things out and have answers.
Yeah, like, it's not supposed to be like that. And it's like, life is so boring that way. So it's like, as long as you know that you're showing up your authentic self and you are trying to communicate better, be better, you know, come from multiple points of view in certain situations and not be a know-it-all, and come from that. Like, if you're doing the work,
I have to listen and be coachable.
Be coachable. Yeah, like, just be around people who are talking better, you know, speaking differently. Like, you don't want to be around the gossip, and, you know, if you are, take the inventory of, like, okay, if you're hanging out around 5 people who are sitting here robbing people out here,
5 people.
Like, gossiping, like,
then what does that say about you?
Yeah, like, you're going to be the average of the 5 people you're around. So it's like, when I do my inventory, it's like, I need to be around people who challenge me. Like, if they're not doing the things that I want to do, then what am I doing? So, like, that type of inventory. And it's like, again, that also goes into other parts of your life. Like, when people hate on what you are doing, or your friends like, well, why are you changing? And it's like, being able to work through those conversations and understanding, like, when you put yourself to higher standards and you're doing the things to get there, there's going to be people who are going to judge you, even though it's family or friends, or you would think that they're supposed to support you. Just do it if you know it's coming from love and light.
That's what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
then you got to do it. Because at the end of this life that we talked about, right? God's only going to pull out the scroll with your name on it.
Exactly.
He's only going to hold you accountable for the things that he gave to you.
Yeah.
He's not going to say, oh, well, did thingy help you do? Did this?
Yeah.
No. He's going to ask you what you did with your life.
Yeah.
Let me reiterate, like, I don't necessarily care. You don't care what people think of you, but I think if you live with that integrity and that kindness and not like egotistical and stuff, like, I just feel like you're a better person overall. You don't even have to worry about what people think of you or this or that or the other. It's like, there's always going to be negative people out there, yeah. But I don't walk around like on eggshells, like tiptoeing. You know, you have to be your true self. And that's where you have to get vulnerable with yourself. And as
keep your eyes on your own paper.
Yeah, as they were saying, most of us guys need to be more vulnerable with our emotions and being in tune with how we operate. You know, even on the inside. Like I said before, like I do the saunas. I like to meditate in the sauna. If you don't have a sauna, you can still close your eyes and do a couple breathing exercises in your nose, out your mouth.
Do a hot shower.
Yeah, but
work with what you have.
You do have to work with what you have.
Yeah,
but you do it with integrity, honesty, kindness. You listen to people, be open-minded. It's just like it all will come together with your mission that you want, with your goals. Like a fun fact, if you don't know what they were saying earlier, is like you are like the 5 most people you hang out with. You literally are, like if you take all 5 of them and put them together, that's you. That's the science behind
that way, like that.
Yeah, that's the science behind it. Is you're all 5 of those closest people to you, so you have to pick those people closest, and that's again where your boundaries come into play.
Like, don't feel bad if it is like not the best situation right now. But like that's
it's always going to get better. Nothing is permanent. It gives you a goal
to reach. It gives you. This is your opportunity to do that self inventory, even as you're watching this.
And even
people that I'm around, or is that who I am?
Yeah, is that who you want to be? Is that who you want to be? You know.
Think about your future self. Yourself 5 years from now. Are you doing today what you want to benefit from 5 years from now?
And another fun fact. Well, you can do it right now on the video too. Just get out a piece of paper and pencil and make a list of maybe just a daily list of what you want to do with the rest of the day after you watch this, or tomorrow. You can get your list in advance.
Short-term.
And then you have your short-term goals and your long-term goals. And 7, this is from a few years ago, but this statistic is still crazy that 7 out of 10 people that actually write their goals down do the goals. It's like right then and there, 70%, 7 out of 10 people, 70% of people that write their stuff down do it. I got a piece of paper and pen out that day, I think, or that podcast I was listening to.
I learned that Carmen operates best with pen and paper.
I literally, I was like, well, I want to be that person. I want to do those goals, so let me get my pen and paper out.
I'm learning, and journaling too.
So
I'm working on right now, being consistent with my journaling. I love it. It's a release. I think I heard something the other day, and it made me want to get back to journaling and be better at it. Is what she said was she found her journal from like 8 years ago, and she read some things out of it from then, the goal she had, and then it allowed her to compare where she was then to her mindset now, and it's like literal proof of your growth. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to guess how you felt. You write it down. And I think I needed some more clarity as to what journaling was supposed to do for me, because at some point I was like, for what? I'm like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Why am I writing these thoughts down? But then once this other podcaster said, but when I go back and I read that from 8 years ago, it did something for me to show me exactly where I was then. You know, it's like a real time capsule. So now I feel more like, okay, I got to do this, because I'm going to forget things. I'm going to, I want my kids to find this one day.
Well, the list, I mean, journaling, it helps you. The biggest thing, the issues we have is to let go. So journaling allows us to put it on paper and process the thought for the most part. Release. So it doesn't subconsciously just cycle. That's exactly what our list does. Like when we go out during the day, it's like, I got to do this. And then it's like, oh, I have to do this still. But I promise you, like, if you have it wrote down, once your mind starts to cycle and go into that, I have to do, it just stops, and you're like, I have a list. I don't even need to cycle it. Like, and then it allows your mind to open up and take in new knowledge, or focus on whatever you want to focus on, or actually be intentful in that in the moment. You know.
If you're anything like me, my brain is running before I even pull the covers back.
Oh, heck yeah.
It doesn't stop.
It's like,
before
I even fully wake up, I think I'm
something
like,
about ADHD, and I was just like, you only knew.
Here, there, everywhere. Me and my sister would be like, squirrel.
No, literally. Yeah.
Squirrel, like, for real. Like, that's my brain.
And so many people can relate to that. And it's just, again, like, take a deep breath. Like, and again, you guys might want this famous routine. Like, I know you think that we even have this incredible routine, but it's like we're all human. We're all just trying to figure it out. Some people are going to be more disciplined, like he might be a little bit more disciplined in the gym, even with me, but it's like other things that I make sure that I'm always doing is my skincare routine, like every morning and every night, because it's still like a little moment to like
self-care.
It's like the love, like it's just small, and men can do this too. Like when I wash my face, I
do it sometimes. I'm not gonna.
I try to like
do little eye
hold
things
my face back, and I just like actually send love to my face, and I'm like the energy will travel, and it's like that 2 minutes that I do that, it's still remembering that. If you think about it, we have every single cell and molecule in our body, it's listening to our thoughts in our brain. And when I heard that before, I'm like, okay, when people are sick, or like, I'm so sick. Well, it's like, yeah, your brain's telling yourself. Literally, you're so powerful. And we have to remember, our tongue is so powerful, and we have to remember, like, if no, I'm healing. So even if, like, from this little conversation, like, for me, it's like, how we speak on things is going to be so crucial, because we can only control ourselves, so we can control our tongue. Like there's going to be times where we might want to react to something, and it's like people think, oh, I have freedom of speech, right? Freedom of speech, actually stop talking.
Yeah, why
literally,
would you
and go reflect.
Like, why would you let? That's a big thing. Is like the actions and reactions. It's like it's so easily to get out of your character.
Yeah, don't get me out of my character.
But why let that person get you out of your character? I've had so many different jobs, and like sales jobs and these jobs, where I've had so many rude customers, and like the people I was working with would look at me after and be like, how the heck did you just handle that? Like, I would have lost my mind on that person. And I was just like, because they're having a worse day than I am.
That part.
It's like, because like the one guy literally cussed me out and everything. I think I was selling Spectrum or something in Walmart. I just said, hey, what kind of internet do you have? And he cussed me out, told me we emailed him, we called him at home, now he can't even go to the effing grocery store or whatever it is.
Without seeing me.
And he literally had it in for me, like he built that stuff. And I was just like, I was like, thanks, sir. Have a better day. And I went and greeted the next person, and the two people I was working with just stopped. And we were like flabbergasted. It was mind blowing. They were just like, how the heck did you just handle that? You just got screamed at. And I was just like,
never personal.
Yeah, it's not personal. It's like, you gotta let that stuff slide.
I had to convince myself, I had to really learn, like, Desmond, it is not always personal. But when I was little, I was so like sensitive. Everything anybody said, the way they said it, how they looked, the look on it would like hit me in a personal like, oh. Because I'm just like, oh, I was just so nice to you, and I used to take it as a personal attack. Somebody else having a bad day, so they're not talking to you as much as they used to, or they just don't have, they're very short. I used to take it personally because then, again, I had those expectations of other people, and I had to realize, like, that it took my cousin to say, girl, everybody's not going to talk to you how you think they should. They're not going to say what you think they should say to you. And if something that they say really triggers you like that, it's an opportunity for you to say, hey, what part of me is so triggered by what this person just said? It gives you an opportunity to figure out what you need to heal from. You know what I mean? That person's going to be that person. To you, and to the next person, and to that person, and to the next person. They're going to be nasty to all of those people. So why are you thinking that you're so special that you like, no. I had to really learn, like, girl, you're not that special. They're nasty to everybody.
That's like super important. Like, as you're making these changes, like, say you are naturally like the person who wants to play victim all the time, or just wants to always like, well, poor little old me, or whatever. It's like we've all had choices. We get to just kind of like, again, just stop and like
Yeah, take it in for a minute.
Just receive it. Like, how do we get to be better? How do we get to remember, like, oh, nothing is personal.
Even if you didn't have many choices, you have choices now.
Yeah.
It's the type,
right now.
You can change.
You're listening right now.
You can change anytime you want. You just have to be open to accept the change. That's the worst part, is letting go and accepting the new change. So everybody has a problem with it. Some of us meditate more than others on certain things.
Some people don't know how to meditate, and if you don't know how to meditate, that's okay.
You can reach out to us to help and yoga and training sessions, and
just understand that. Take a moment and like put your hand on your heart and like on your stomach, and just like your heartbeat is just remind yourself.
Not us doing it as soon as she said it.
I didn't do that.
Playful out, Carmen. Okay, like just you right now.
It is important to do, guys.
You must be hearing this.
If you're a guy, don't be like,
just do it.
If you're listening, do it. Okay. Like,
try to help you.
So
right now, you can choose. It's your time. And, you know, I'm not the same person who I was 5 years ago, a year ago, 6 months ago, even last week, you know? So it's like I'm choosing that. And whenever you have time, make a list of like your ideal life. Something that really just kind of like, it takes time. So don't like think it's going to be in 2 seconds, but like make that list.
It takes almost 2 weeks to implement something new into your routine. So you have to stick with it. Remember,
not even just that, like getting clear with what you want and understanding, like I grew up on food stamps. My family, we had our own. My dad was an alcoholic. My family, they got a divorce. I'm very grateful for my childhood. It made me who I am today. But it's like,
to learn from
despite all of that, that doesn't mean because we grew up the way we did, I had to do the same thing and repeat it. So it's like the moment I realized I had that choice, I wrote down that I want to own a yacht one day, or I want to be able to travel all over the world and bring my children. You know, when I with God, and like that's His plan for me to be a mom one day. Like I don't want my children to know the map. I want them to live the map. But I had to understand that, like, just because my parents didn't do that for me, that doesn't mean I have to shit on them. They shouldn't, like, shitting on your parents, like, oh, they should have done this. Like, no, they did the best that they could, you know, and like giving them that space and like, okay, thank you for this this life that I get to live. I get to get super clear with what I want, and if I want it, ain't no one else. Like Carmen came into my life to add value, but if you chose to leave tomorrow, thank you God for this chapter. Like, I'm going to figure it out no matter what. So get clear. Get that journal out. Like, it's so important. And don't shoot small. Like, put whatever you want.
Yeah.
If you want like cars, whatever, who cares? Put it down.
When I say that was such a lesson, like, everything you just said, I literally learned, like, boom, 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 boom. Boom. Down to, like, don't dream small. Like, even this.
Like, time by 10.
What did I send you pictures of when I said I was going to do this podcast? Talk about dreaming small. And then finding out, like, what I thought of for myself, which was that little 4-dimensional room. I sent you pictures of the little bedroom I was going to do this in.
Yeah.
So
and you said actually?
Prime example of, like, what plans you have for you and what plans God has for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're taking action because you're talking about it. Because again, like you know what you wanted to do. You're willing to work with what you have. But again, you're getting uncomfortable. You're talking about it, and you just said it to the right person. Now look at this beautiful space that you get to create.
Because I opened my mouth.
Yeah, you have to get into action.
Like, boom.
You can write it, but if you don't get into action, that's like that's a.
Me and my mom said the same thing on the phone this morning. Like,
you have to put
God will. He will do it for you. But He is not going to move your feet for you. He's not going to do that. You got to be able to
manifest.
He got to know you're going to do it. You know?
I
told him I know He trusted me with a thing because He knew I was going to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm bold in that way. He was like, you know what?
Bet on yourself.
I always felt like
you win every time.
And if it doesn't work out, it wasn't supposed to.
Literally.
Like, it's going to be bigger than you can imagine. But if you don't take action, first of all, get clear. Times that by 10 because you are so worthy of having so much. But if you don't then see it, get clear. If I expect someone to do this for me, I lost.
Your time is valuable.
So, put that into action.
And you don't need anyone else. You have everything you need right here. And that was another lesson I learned. You know what I mean? In all my life, I think it was like that. I always thought I needed people around or someone with me. I didn't have that self-confidence in that real, in myself, because I thought I was lacking so much. And then once you grow and you really heal, you realize look at
that.
Look at that.
Let's actually take a second to really edify you, girl, you're doing it. And it was all you just had this excitement and you didn't really know where to begin. When you would come and I was and I'm I want to know everything, and it's you just have to start. You just have to start, and this is such a special time. I'm so proud of you. And again, thank you for having us on.
In the space where you scheduled me in and stuff.
Yeah. It's so special
it's just
to
cool,
see it.
the story build up and everything.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
But everybody to incorporate change, people do have obstacles in the way, and whether it's your phone time or whatever addiction it is, it could be anything.
Come on, Carmen.
Literally. I mean, I was on Adderall. You said ADHD. I was on an extreme amount of daily dosage of Adderall. I'm not anymore because I got real with myself when I started praying.
Amen.
And when I moved up here from South Carolina, God made it, I don't know, it made it super hard to get my refill too. And I sat with myself and for I don't know, it was a week. But my refill was late for 2 weeks at this point. So I was just I sat with myself. I went to Austintown, I went to Liberty, different townships. It wasn't because of the milligrams and the state laws and lawsuits during this county or whatever it was. I sat with myself. I was that just means God doesn't want me. I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? It's just there's little things you wake up in the middle of the night, all you vapors and stuff. I used to vape. Literally,
all you vapors.
I'm telling you, the vaping is horrible for your lungs and puts particles in there. And I'm speaking from experience. You know what I'm saying? It's I talked to this one person. She did so much vaping. She actually the liquid built up in her lungs and she collapsed and turned blue. It's it's not good for you, but you have to overcome these certain elements of waking up and getting on your phone immediately. You have to get
worked on that habit.
Next time.
You're supposed to wake up.
Yeah.
Thank God.
With gratitude comes.
I'm
before you go on Instagram.
See, I don't even do the Instagram, Facebook anymore because there was a time in my life where I literally uninstalled the apps and I was just social media free for X amount of time because I knew in the moment that's what I needed to just overcome and take control of that. So now when I re-downloaded it, I might swipe a couple reels, but I'm not on there for an hour. It's 2-3 reels if I open it up and I watch, and I can put it down. And it's just overcoming and taking control of these certain obstacles in your life that might be holding you back. Imagine your scroll time or your gambling or your addiction, whatever addiction.
You ever have a moment where you realize I've had my phone in my hand all day?
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
I need to stretch my fingers out.
Yeah, and a lot of people are on
for real.
Different medications, depression medication with Adderall or whatever it is, and that you have to learn. There was times where I'd be fast paced, just walking through my house, and I would feel my heart. My thoughts were racing. I could feel my heart beating. And there's been times coming out of depression, I literally would just ground myself. I would physically step back even, and just close my eyes. Do a quick inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. And just regain control of everything, my thoughts, my body, because I'm doing 60 things at once and just trying to come out of depression too. So it's just you have to...
It's physical, it's mental, it's all of the...
When you realize it though, be real with yourself. When you realize it, don't put it on the back burner and be oh yeah, I dealt with this. Actually deal with it and sit with it, and whether you journal about it or sit with it in your meditation or whatever it is,
but
you can overcome it.
Yeah.
You can. I know you can because we all have.
Yeah.
We're all sitting here right now.
Overcoming things currently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
And I try to mention this and it comes up every time, but it's like, don't think because we decided to act on our blessings and do what we're supposed to do that we are just like, we're good. We've made it to it. Like,
I'm
It
far
don't
from
stop.
good.
It don't
no.
It don't stop.
We learning something every day. My girl Dana didn't even know she was going to be on camera today.
Technically, I don't even know.
She was
I was like, all the time anyway, so I was like,
oh my God, we know you.
Yeah. No,
yeah, we're not like we're all working on ourselves fully. Now at my age, well, I guess we never really said our ages. I'm 37 years old, so at my age, I feel like if I go to sleep and I didn't learn something in the day, I kind of wasted the day away. And this is coming from like I used to game. I used to do all the things back in the day, you know, like I don't drink anymore. I feel like I had my party time. Why do I need to drink? And there's no pros with it. When you do something, do it with intention and do it with your pros versus cons. Whether you list them or write them out, like alcohol, there's no pros. The only pro that people have said is that it makes them feel good. And I say in the moment, but you have a hangover or you're dehydrated. X amount of time after.
People, you might agree to this. I hear all the time that alcohol makes me look a little bit more comfortable and loose, and it's like, okay, or do the work and dig deeper, and when you can love yourself, your full self, and you're not afraid to be weird. Like I always tell people, I'm like a weird, like I'm a good weird, but it's like I'm not afraid to just be who I am, and it's like. I don't need alcohol to have fun.
But there's no normal. You know, when you think like, I just want to be normal. Nobody's normal. We're all weird. We're all weird, goofy, whatever it is, and there's certain ways, but there isn't. The only objective to get to isn't to be normal. It's to get your goals that you just wrote down, hopefully, a couple minutes ago.
Or get to
You know what I'm saying? Or work on yourself. Even if you do one thing.
I was just about to say, if this one thing that you just decide, you know what? All right, I'm going to handle this month.
Yeah.
Give yourself...
Baby steps.
I had to baby step it.
That's
like, I had to give myself... Okay, I had to give myself
tum tum.
A goal, not tum tum. I literally had to give myself a goal like once a month.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It may have been a lot of different things that played a role in it because I am a mom. I am in school. I do work full time. I do a lot of things, probably too many things. But I had to give myself a goal once a month. And once I realized, okay, I can do something once a month. Yeah. Going to therapy and being consistent.
That part.
That was a big goal for 2024, and I managed to do it. Like, okay, I'm like 8 months in, but
celebrate yourself more.
We can do it, and I know there's a lot of distractions, and I know there's a lot going on, and there's this and there's that, and you'll never get a handle on it without a clear mind. You'll never really know what's pulling at you until you sit down with it and decide. And then you also have to decide what's around you, who's around you. Is it going to help you? You're going to leave here one day. You know what I mean? And I want to leave in one piece. You know what I mean? And have done things that have really like, I'm going to leave a mark for someone to talk about down the road, or not even just that, but I really want to please God. I'm really pursuing him, and that's my goal. It may not be your goal, but it's mine. And, you know, I know how precious that is and I know how precious I am to him. And if you don't have someone that feels that way about you, just know that he does. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then there's other people in the community that are rooting for you too. And I really just wanted to show you guys like all these people that you may meet in passing, or you might just be stopping in their shops, or you might just be, these are human beings too. And they have opinions, they have hurt, they have things that they've gone through, things that they have, you know what I mean? And so never be afraid to say, when somebody asks you, hey, how you doing? Tell them. Yeah. Don't walk with pride. I mean, don't walk around just like, the thing is, like, I've learned that when people say, hey, Jazz, how you been?
Yeah, they want to
tell them. Yeah. I want to tell them, like, I'm not saying, okay, no, like, you know what, I'm struggling.
If they're genuinely your friend, like, or empathetic, or and then
just good people.
Like good people.
I've done that with strangers.
They actually want to know, like. Yeah. They want to know so they can help them if there's a way they can help, or just be there for you.
People have gifts that you don't even know they have. So if you're not walking around being the purest form of you, you'll never meet the gifts or see the gifts that other people have that God might have wanted you to run into that man that day because he wanted to say something to you. But if you're operating in this way that's not even who you are, and you're not in alignment with just where you're supposed to be, you're not going to run into who you're supposed to run into.
That part, so good.
You know what I mean? I've met so many people that I probably was never even supposed to cross paths with.
Right.
Because I wasn't in my lane. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The alignment.
He has a plan for you. Yeah. There's a group for you. There's a support team for you. There's someone for everyone that can pour into you. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be romantic. It doesn't have to be, it can be just people being people. We need each other.
Yeah, just take your baby steps.
Yeah.
Like,
steps.
Even when I train people, I tell people, and again, like, just because you might see some videos or whatnot, like, I might be intense in my training and how I talk to myself, but I think an important part of like listening and being coachable and bringing that energy is adapting to others. So I easily can adapt to you and like how you would want to be coached for your goals. If you want the intensity, I can bring it. If you don't want it, I'm going to know that probably by just giving you your evaluation.
And with that being said, I want you guys to remember just to let them know who you are, where your fit camp is. Remind them where to find you. I have Dana Hughes here, who is the owner operator of Liberty Nutrition, and I have Carmen Makar. Yep. I messed his last name up so bad. Makar, and you are a personal trainer, mentor, fitness. Tell them and let them know where to find you guys and where they can see both of you.
Well, at Shed Liberty Nutrition on Belmont Avenue. Was it 3045?
Yeah.
Belmont? Yep.
Youngstown.
It's not east or west, right?
No.
It's just right there.
Belmont Avenue, Youngstown, Ohio.
And we have a little gym in the back, so we can do your one-on-one training. We have free fit camp Sunday mornings at 9 a.m.
Find us on social media.
We have a kids camp coming up on January 18th. Where we'll give the parents, a little time away from the kids and kids to have a good space.
Yeah, I'll remind you.
Yeah, it's just like we have these little ladders, we have Nerf guns, we have certain elements for kids camp. We're going to be doing core classes, yoga classes. I do one-on-one training in the back if you want. We're just bringing the energy, and we just want it to be a safe space for people. Like I said, we don't really. I don't drink anymore. Like I know she doesn't really drink. Like we're past certain parts in our life, so we just want that safe space because we feel like there's like nowhere to go. Like you want to go out and watch the game, but there's always alcohol there. You want to go do something, but there's always alcohol or there's this there, a negative space, a toxic space. Yeah. So we just want to be that space for people to come to.
You guys are too, and it's real.
Oh, I've prayed so many times. The diversity
space. It's covered.
Check this out.
That diversity is something else. You walk in and you would think that Dana met you already. You would think, honey,
that's my gift. So I would say, follow us at Liberty, Ohio Nutrition. That's going to be our brick and mortar. No, but seriously, I prayed so much into that space. I promise you, I'm so clear with my purpose, and I know it's only going to just expand. And it's like, I want everyone who comes into this space to feel seen and to feel loved, because that's what everybody wants anyways. And I'm going to respect you and I'm going to love you the moment I meet you, because that's just how I was raised, and that's just how I operate. And you'll feel the love when you come in. So I would love for you guys to come check it out. Follow us on Instagram. We are on Facebook. To get more personal with me, I have my other Instagram, like the Positive Fuel. It's _Positive Fuel. And that's just still in the works. So like, again, we're just constantly, or I can speak for myself, I'm constantly challenging myself on where I get to take up more space. And
that's
please.
A word in itself, Dana. Take up space.
Yeah.
I'm learning to do that and not like feel bad.
She'll put it in like
yeah.
But my name's Dana, and I'm 29, so I've been in business
Dana, you're 29?
Yeah. Did you think I was younger?
No.
Oh.
Because she's so like.
Oh yeah, no. I'm about to be 30 this year. Yeah. But I don't have children, so I need some more time, trust me. But yeah, no, so my positive fuel, like I'm really stepping into my life coaching. I'll be certified not only in the US, but also internationally.
Ooh.
So I have big plans to be out of the country this year. So, but yeah, we're stronger together. And that's kind of like where I'll leave it for me is like, my vision, I know that it's up to me to, show up for myself no matter what, because I cannot control the people around me. But I will also say, when you have people who just get it, lock arms with them, because we're stronger together. And I wouldn't want to do this with, just by myself. Like, that's not fun. That's not my purpose. Like, that's not really anybody's purpose.
I think it's anybody's purpose.
Yeah, we're supposed to be with people, be united. So
sharing experiences.
It's like I need, and I'm looking for more people who just, want to just get uncomfortable and to add value, or just to show up and like just know that we're gonna meet you where you are, and we're gonna just love you for who you are.
We have people
as you work on you.
Yeah, like the fit camps at Sunday, 9 a.m. free Sunday. We have people. We have a couple people that used to show up at the last 5-10 minutes just because they knew we were open to get a tea, and because we welcomed them in, and they just come at the beginning.
They're fam now.
Yeah, now they come at the beginning. So they're like, you're so welcoming. So they started coming like 10 minutes. It was literally like 5 minutes before we ended. Then a couple times it was 10 minutes. And then they showed up at the beginning and surprised everybody at the fit camp. So it's just like a whole energy thing. Cool. And again, if you're a beginner, we have levels of things. I'll show you the beginner technique to the advanced technique. And if you have questions, I'm usually walking around just perfecting your form so you don't hurt yourself.
Just come check it out.
Literally. Come check it out. Because I was very like, oh, I can't. And then when I get in there, I'm like, okay, that's okay.
It might be sore, but it's okay. But thank you. Oh my goodness, this was so much fun.
I'm so glad, and I'm so thankful that both of you came. Like, just how open and ready and willing you were. That's just a word in itself. Yeah. And I think there's one thing to talk about unity. It's one thing to express, how you feel about getting together and being in community. But it's another to do it. Yeah. For us to actually execute and do it and show up for each other and keep our words to one another. That's big. That's big for me. You know what I mean? I'm so grateful for both of you coming in. Their inspiration off camera, okay? This one holds me accountable. When I get there, he's like, hey, let's go. You ready?
We just get so excited.
Once you get there, you're like, I gotta see it through, and then get you all the way to the end. And it's like, I'm so grateful for that. Yeah. And I can't wait. Don't forget, Sundays, 9 a.m., Liberty Nutrition, free workout. Listen, and it's not even like 100 people in there. It's very cozy. It's very like, okay, I saw them last week. Like, it's like everybody shows up. So thanks for just sitting with us and learning about Dana and Carmen. You'll see them if you go into the shop. They're always there with smiles on. I think Dana's going to come back and give us we're going to take a few steps a little deeper.
We're about to go.
She got some things to say. Yeah.
I can tell you a little bit too.
So if you're a guy and you are, wanting a guy perspective, just kind of like, how to stay fit, things that you've gone through, things that, just need a little help and a mentor or another guy to pour into you. You can find Carmen, find him on his social media. He's open to all those things. If you want to just work out and it's like an individual thing, you don't want to be in the big group, he provides that. If you want to get information from Dana and how she got to where she is and what steps she took in her entrepreneurship journey, as well as her spiritual journey and where she is as a young woman, it's all good. It's all good. And we're here for each other. So I will definitely have their tags and all the information at the bottom of the screen. And you guys,
you want to say your personal? Your personal Instagram?
Oh, I was just gonna do that for the camera.
Oh my goodness gracious! Over there, Carmen. It's that one.
No, she'll just put
I
that.
know, I was just being funny. That's why I didn't put it in there.
Okay. And I'm definitely leaving it in there, so don't worry about it.
It's Makar motivation is what I was
Makar motivation.
It's alright. The people get it now.
No,
They get it. They're fine.
They get it.
This has been a really fun episode of Reminisce. I do try to let everyone you guys gave me your positive thoughts. I love that. And catch us next time, man. You never know who's going to be on the couch, man. You're going to learn about the people that were right here. I can stay on the couch and I'm sitting in the chair.
Oh, no, staying on the couch. It's cute. That was cute.
You never know who's going to be here, man. And just
in the love seat.
Stick around, subscribe, the love seat. And see who you may be learning from. Who may be telling you their story. You never know who may be here. I think we're a community and we are all kind of coming together, and I'm excited to see where this goes. So catch us on the next episode of Reminisce.
Thank you for listening.